Hi, Cornerstone family. Good to be with you again as you prepare to meet this week with your Transform group and think about the message on Sunday and how it affects you and how you can apply it, looking at the biblical passages. So good for you. Talking about finances and money this last Sunday, and then I'll have one more Sunday, part A and part B, on our financial health. How can we give God space to work in that? Money and finances are a tough topic. We don't actually like to talk about it much. My conversations with people this past week, most of our parents haven't taught us or trained us well to deal with financial matters. They just didn't. And sometimes as adults, we may be embarrassed about our financial situation, or we may think we have more than a friend, so we don't want to talk about that, or we make a big purchase and we're not sure it was smart, so we don't really tell anybody, or we made some financial mistakes in our life, or we're sitting really well and we know not everybody is, and so we just don't want to talk about it. So it's kind of a quiet, hidden subject in our lives to a large degree. But it's a really important part of our life. What we make, what we spend, what we save, how we give. It's really kind of a symbol or sign of who we are at our core being. So financial health, doing it God's way, is big and important. Just a reminder, this Sunday is the numbers 4, 5, 6, and 7 in Habits of Financial Health. But don't forget number 1. I said you gotta do these things in order. The first one is trust God as your source and supplier. It all starts there. And that's a struggle to do that. And hopefully you've realized that. It's an ongoing work in my life and my heart. I'm committed to that, but every once in a while it gets tested and I have to kind of re-up and reevaluate and go, well, where's my trust level in God as my source and supplier, and recommit to that. And it all starts there. Aside from that, nothing else really matters or makes sense. With that trust in God kind of solid as your foundation for how you think about money, how you handle money, other things can fall into place really well. But first things first, commit to trusting God as your source and supplier. My first mission trip I went on a while back, my son was in 8th grade at the time. We went to Jamaica, the Kingston area, the northern part of the island, particularly the northwestern part is where the tourists go. Kingston's different. Major city, urban problems, lots of challenges. And so we went to the Kingston area, visited an orphanage. And one of the things I observed at the orphanage with the kids who were there, the small church we went to locally, and then just spending some time driving around some of those poor neighborhoods in Kingston and downtown Kingston, people were happier. They smiled more. And I thought, these people don't have much. But just driving by, cursory conversations, getting, just little conversations, get into, they seem to be enjoying life more than the people I know in the U.S. who have incredible amount more money and stuff and goods and better housing and better medical care. And so you begin to get this realization, money and happiness in the U.S., we think it buys success, and sometimes it does, at least for a little while, but not really. Contentment is deeper than that, which is the last number 7 that we eventually get to. But so just start thinking about that. I mean, kids that have nothing, they go outside and they play with a simple toy and they invent and they explore and they have a great time. And we felt bad as parents because we couldn't buy them an expensive toy that we wanted to, and they don't care. They find joy in life. That's part of that journey as adults. We're trying to go back to that. Remember, these habits in our financial life, we're just trying to give God space to work in our financial lives. To do things so we pay attention to God's word about money. We listen. We want to obey. We make progress. Remember, all the cultural habits on financial matters will leave no space for God. None. None at all. So we have to create some space for God in our financial lives through some habits and practices, so we actually give God some room to speak to us and guide us and direct us. That's all that we're talking about. These aren't magic steps. They're just giving God space to work with us so we can follow him in this financial area of our life. It's very important. So this week we talk about really big issues for people. Saving, Paying off debt. It's a big issue for Americans. Many of us have too much debt, and it weighs us down. We feel it all the time. You need to get free from that. Budgeting, knowing how much we spend and kind of shifting our expenditures so they make sense. And then finally, enjoying what we have. Being content. What a great thing to be content. Whether you have little or a lot, you're just content where you're at. You're not always wanting, always wishing, always thinking life would be better only if I had. You just enjoyed the day, the moment, because it's all a gift from God. And that's one of the end results of being transformed in our financial life. We settle down, we calm down, and God gives us this gift of contentment. One of the things I've realized about myself and our culture is we're told that there are no limits. You can do whatever you want. You can be whatever you want. If you work hard, you can make a lot of money and buy all the stuff you want and get more stuff. And there's no limits. You can just go on and on. Well, that's not true, is it? We live within limits. I can't do and be everything. I'm Steve. I have a personality, I have gifts, I have abilities. You do too. We can't do everything. We have to be the masterpiece that God made us to be. But we're a unique part. We just can't do anything and everything. We have limits. We also have financial limits. It's good to be honest about that. And go, well, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to use the gifts God's given to me and trust Him as my source and provider. But I'm going to learn to find contentment and get away from this craziness of always wanting the next thing, which just leaves us exhausted and sometimes downright cranky. So enjoy the conversations this week. Be honest as you talk with each other. Encourage each other. This is a hard topic, but we want to help each other make space for God in our financial lives. So enjoy.